The world is desperate for organs. If you need a new kidney in the US, you only have a 1 in 3 chance of acquiring it by legal means. People are prepared to pay a lot of money to save their own or a loved one's life. So an international black market of organ procurement, trafficking and surgery exists. There's a huge demand, a major supply problem, and you're just a wet sack of commodity.
Every year, thousands of organs are bought and sold on a flourishing black market, with a single organ selling for up to $200,000. Some might consider that a small price to pay if it's about saving your own life, but it's a complicated life and death business with legal, moral and ethical issues involved. They are the subject of a documentary called Tales from the Organ Trade, which tackles the problem from all points of view. I sat down with the film's director to discuss.
Director Rick Esther Bienstock says she found there are no simple answers.
I think that you can't just talk about this in terms of exploitation without really understanding what drives the trade. And what drives the trade are desperate people, generally in the first world, in developed countries, who are choosing between life and death. And they're absolutely in despair. And that's what makes them, if they have the wherewithal and the drive and the ability to seek out a kidney overseas, do the subject matter a disservice by just saying this is pure exploitation, this is wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying you have to understand the driving forces, because what I see happening is the authorities and the medical establishment just talking about cracking down on the black market without providing solutions and really look at the root causes of why this is happening. I don't have an answer. I pose more questions in the film than I answer, but I hope it kind of sparks debate so that those thinkers who work in the field can actually come up with a viable solution so we eliminate all these needless deaths. And we're not going to stop kidney transplantation, so we've got to figure out how to meet the demand
This
somehow.
week, a People's Tribunal in London concluded that prisoners of conscience in China are being murdered for their organs. A former intern at a military hospital in China who witnessed the crime firsthand speaks out. He told NTD's Alec Rusek his story.
The event took place in the 90s while George Jung was about to graduate from medical school. I was doing an internship at the Shenyang Army General Hospital. At that time, I took part in a military mission. Along with 3 doctors and 2 nurses, and under armed escort, he was driven in an ambulance to an area around Dalian in China's northeast. The ambulance drove to a very remote place in the wilderness. Then we heard a gunshot. It wasn't long before several soldiers carried a man over. At the time, I saw that his neck was all covered by blood, and his throat was bloody. Jung witnessed doctors removing kidneys from the prisoner. He motioned for me to cut one particular blood vessel. As soon as it was cut, his blood instantly flowed out, and it was hot. I was panicking and very shocked at the time. But I saw that the other people present had no expression on their faces. After the kidneys, the doctors instructed him to take out the eyeballs. I said that I couldn't do it at all. I was near collapse at that time, and my body kept on shaking. One of the doctors removed the eyeballs, and after all was done, instructed George to stuff the body into a bag, which was carried away by soldiers.
담배 피고 와. 나가서 좀 쉬었다가 이거 같이 마치자. 응?
you